Hey EBC, I miss you. A lot of people don't understand what church is. They think church is something you do or a place that you go. But I tell you this, the church is designed by God to be a family. And a family, in fact, with which you have more in common than the family with which you share your name. That's a big deal. That's why a lot of people don't understand what it's like to miss people like we miss each other. A lot of people are people persons, and they miss church because they want to be around people. But that's not why we miss each other. We miss each other for the same reason a deployed soldier misses his family, because families are designed to be together. And when we can't be together, our heart aches to be together because we are designed to be together. I know many of you are wondering when we're going to be together again. And I want to communicate with you clearly so that we're all on the same page. So listen very closely. The governor has lightened restrictions in the state for quarantine and business operations. Many people are taking this to mean that everything is behind us and there is no threat to public gatherings. Many churches are going to begin meeting together soon. Even in the lead up to this whole thing, and then certainly amidst it, we've been looking at alternative places where we could meet. We've called real estate agents and landlords. We've called landowners and business owners. We've talked to tons of people about their spaces for our use. But after an extensive search and taking in a multitude of factors, we have determined that there does not currently exist a better local place for us to meet on Sunday mornings. So we're still going to be putting all our eggs in the basket of New Caney High School Annex building. But that also means that we don't get a say on when that building opens up. The school district officials get to tell us when we can meet again. And while they haven't given us a date for when we can meet in the building again, they have told us that it definitely won't be in the month of May. Now, as long as we think their decision-making is going to produce a reasonable timeline, we're going to continue to work with them. We've looked at more options than we can count. Should we ask people to meet in homes and small group watch parties to stream our services together so we can simulate some sort of fellowship? Well, many churches are doing that. What about a parking lot service? Tons of churches are doing that. What about renting a church on a Sunday afternoon and doing an alternative time to service? That seems reasonable. But after surveying tons of options, we feel the juice isn't worth the squeeze on any of the available options to us, and that for a host of reasons that I won't get into now. Therefore, you need to know what we are going to be doing. We will be continuing to offer our services the same way we've been delivering them. And we'll be working hard to make sure that the quality is the highest we can possibly provide. We've worked extremely hard to make the quality of our services top-notch. We'll be doing that even more moving forward. I'm really pleased with what we've done so far. I think it's served our church well. And we'll be working with the school officials to get into the annex at the earliest possible date. However, when we do get to meet in the school again, you need to know it won't be immediately back to normal. Many people who are still high risk with compromised immune systems and some pre-existing conditions will still need to keep their distance. So we've taken this 2 months that we've been out of service, and we've tried to learn how to do high quality services by video so that when we meet again, we can stream our services live for those who can't make it in person. This is going to be a game changer for many of our people as they make the decision that's right for them about when to rejoin us. And when we physically gather again, assume that there are going to be some restrictions on how we can meet together at the time, either restrictions imposed by the state and local governments or restrictions coming down from the school officials. So we won't be able to just cram people into the annex to max capacity again. We'll have to space chairs apart and alter our space in several ways. So when we start back, there will not be children's ministry in the LGI space. We're going to work hard to continue to equip parents with video stuff for their kids like we have, and even deliver paper worksheets to your homes, but we won't be able to have children's ministry in the big space for probably at least a couple of months. And this is due to 2 or 3 things, but let me tell you what we get to trade for this. When we do get to meet again, we're going to immediately transition to multiple services. We'll have something like a 9 o'clock and a 10:30 service, and we'll be streaming them both. And when we're meeting, there will likely be a limit of 30 people in the room in the cafeteria and probably 40 over in the LGI. And we will be streaming them and watching the same service. And then also, we'll have about 20 people here at the HQ where I am now watching the same service. So we will be one people meeting in 3 spaces at the same time. And we'll still need people to help set up and tear down. We'll still need people to help haul trailers and run sound and video. But we won't need childcare workers to show up and do childcare help. But that also means that younger kids will be sitting through our services, which will require grace from everyone involved. But I don't want you to miss something that is really important. Ever since we started EBC, I've wanted to do video streaming of our services. But the quality we were able to produce didn't meet my standards of excellence to be able to do it. So I haven't allowed us to go to streaming services up until this point because the quality wouldn't have been great. But you have no idea how much we've learned in the last 2 months of quarantine. We've learned enough that I'm confident our video, audio, and tech teams will be able to step up to the challenge and produce high quality stuff, so much so that I'm telegraphing our path and telling you that this will be a major part of who we are moving forward. This is a huge answer to prayer that we would not have seen had coronavirus not sidelined our public worship service for 3 months. This expands our reach in a way we couldn't have even imagined. Something else. Do you remember at our leadership dinner when I told you what our next big thing in the life of EBC would be? Do you remember? I told you back in February that our next big thing would be to move to multiple services. And I asked you to pray for multiple services. I asked you to pray big prayers that only God could answer. Y'all, our God is faithful and He hears our prayers. We were praying that over 200 people would come to our church and force us to move into multiple services. And when we prayed that, we had no idea that He could do that with only 30 or 40 of us. It's like He sat back and said, watch this, EBC. God answered 2 huge prayers for us in this time, and we cannot ignore that. So I'm going to ask you to pray pointedly for something. God is giving us streaming services with high quality. God is giving us multiple services, but would you pray that God gives us kingdom impact of 300 people? That we would see our kingdom impact grow through our presence by video and our presence through multiple services in the lives of 300 people. I have a sneaky suspicion God's going to hear the cry of His people and again say, oh, watch this. So in conclusion, here's what's going to happen. We'll be coming back together, probably in July or August, to our annex building. And immediately we'll have no children's area, no food or coffee, but we will be having multiple services, multiple venues, the cafeteria, the LGI, and the HQ with full video streaming. This is our plan moving forward. And I want to be clear with you about our plan so that you can continue to pray to the Lord who gives a harvest and invite your friends and neighbors and family to our church when we're able to meet again in the same space. I also want to say that although we don't know our date for reconvening, many of you are going to want to attend churches that are able to leverage their own buildings and make their own call about when they get back together. That's fine. But remember, this is your home. This is your family. EBC is your people. Christian and I are your pastors. New Caney and Porter and this region is your mission field. And we have a lot of work to do. There are a lot of lives to change. And God has a lot of answering of our prayers to do. So let's go, church.